Hi everybody, welcome back to Reading Corner. I'm so happy you could drop in and join me today because I've got some really fun stories and I'm sure you're going to enjoy. You might remember a little while ago we met Poppleton when he moved from a busy town to a small town, and we read about how he got to know his new neighbour Cherry Sue. This is another story about Poppleton still in his new town and how he really loves to go to the library. Then we've got a story called The Big Brag, and it's about a rabbit and a bear and a worm, and we'll see which one of them can do the biggest brag of all. And then finally, we've got a book that you may have read before, and if not, I know you're going to love it, and it's called The Gruffalo, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. Now remember, if you're someone who likes to read, please read along as the story goes up on the screen. And if you need to pause or rewind and go back, that's okay too, because it's fun to read along and it's really fun if you're learning some really fun new words. So enjoy. But let's get started with Poppleton and his enjoyment of the library. Poppleton went to the library every Monday. Monday, always Poppleton's library day. If Cherry Sue invited him to tea on a Monday, Poppleton would say, "Sorry, library day." If there was a wonderful parade in town on Monday, Poppleton would say, "Too bad, library day." Poppleton took library day very seriously. At the library, Poppleton always got a table all to himself, and he spread out each of his things on the table: his eyeglasses, his tissues, his lip balm, his pocket watch, his bookmarker, and his duffel. Then he began to read. Poppleton loved and liked adventure stories. He buried his head in an adventure book every Monday and left it there all day long. Sometimes he needed a tissue for a sad part. Sometimes he needed lip balm for a dry part. Sometimes he needed his pocket watch for a slow part. But he loved his adventure. And at the end of the day, Poppleton finished the story. He thanked the librarian and packed up his things in his duffel. And then he slowly walked home, all dreamy from so much adventure. Monday was Poppleton's favourite day of all. The end. Do you like going to the library? I know I do. Sometimes isn't it just wonderful to find an adventure book or a picture book or a funny book or a sad book, whichever it is that you like, and you can just spend your time just putting your whole self into that book. And then after you finish it, isn't it good to remember all the fun bits and have that dreamy moment where you've just finished a really good book and you think, oh, that's such a good story to read. If you have some favourite stories like that, please mention them in the comments below. I'd love to know what kind of books you guys like. But now our next story is called The Big Brag. And let's see what happens when rabbit and bear and a worm have a bit of a competition, if you will, to see who has the biggest brag. The rabbit felt mighty important that day on top of the hill in the sun where he lay. He felt so important up there on that hill that he started to brag, as animals will. And he boasted out loud as he threw out his chest, "Of all of the beasts in the world, I'm the best. On land and on sea, even up in the sky, no animal lives who is better than I." "What's that?" growled a voice that was terribly gruff. "Now, why do you say such ridiculous stuff?" The rabbit looked down and he saw a big bear. "I'm best of the beasts," said the bear, "and so there." "You're not," snapped the rabbit. "I'm better than you." "Pooh," the bear snorted. "Again, I say pooh. You talk mighty big, Mr. Rabbit, that's true, but how can you prove it? Just what can you do Thought the rabbit. What can I do? He thought, and he thought. And then he finally said, Mr. Bear, do you see these two ears on my head? My ears are so keen and so sharp and so fine. No ears in the world can hear further than mine. Humph, said the bear grunted. He looked at each ear. You say they are good, said the bear with a sneer, but how do I know just how far they can hear? I'll prove, said the rabbit. My ears are the best. You sit there and watch me. I'll prove it by test. Then he stiffened his ears till they both stood up high and pointed straight up at the blue of the sky. He stretched his ears open as wide as he could. Shh, I'm listening, he said as he stood. He listened so hard that he started to sweat, and the fur on his ears and his forehead got wet. For 7 long minutes he stood, then he stirred, and he said to the bear, do you know what I heard? Do you see that far mountain? It's 90 miles off. There's a fly on that mountain. I just heard him cough. Now, the cough of a fly, sir, is quite hard to hear when he's 90 miles off, but I heard it quite clear. So you see, bragged the rabbit, it's perfectly true that my ears are the best. So I'm better than you. The bear for a moment just sulked as he sat, for he knew that his ears couldn't hear things like that. This rabbit, he thought, made a fool out of me. Now I've got to prove that I'm better than he. So he said to the rabbit, you hear pretty well. You can hear 90 miles. But how far can you smell? I'm the greatest of smellers, he bragged. See my nose? This nose on my face is the finest that grows. My nose can smell anything, both far and near. With my nose, I can smell twice as far as you hear. You can't, snapped the rabbit. I can, growled the bear. And he stuck his big nose way up high in the air. He wiggled that nose and he sniffed and he snuffed. He waggled that nose and he whiffed and he wuffed. For more than 10 minutes, he snuffed and he snuffed. Then he said to the rabbit, I've smelled far enough. All right, said the rabbit. Come on now and tell exactly how far is the smell that you smell? Oh, I'm smelling a very far smell, said the bear, away past that fly on the mountain out there. I'm smelling past many great mountains beyond, 600 miles more to the edge of a pond. And way, way out there by the pond you can't see is a very small farm. On the farm is a tree. On the tree is a branch. On the branch is a nest, a very small nest where 2 tiny eggs rest. 2 hummingbird eggs, only half an inch long, but my nose, said the bear, is so wonderfully strong. My nose is so good that I smelled without fail that the egg on the left is a little bit stale. And that is a thing that no rabbit can do. So you see, the bear boasted, I'm better than you. My smell is so keen that it just can't be beat. What's that? Called a voice from way down by his feet. The bear and the rabbit looked down at the sound and they saw an old worm crawling out of the ground. Now, boys, said the worm, you've been bragging a lot. You both think you're great, but I think you are not. You are not half as good as a fellow like me. You hear and you smell, but how far can you see? Now, I'm here to prove to you big boasting guys that your nose and your ears aren't as good as my eyes. And the little old worm cocked his head to one side and he opened his eyes and he opened them wide. And they looked far away with a strange sort of stare, as if they were burning 2 holes in the air. The eyes of that worm almost popped from his head. He stared half an hour till his eyelids got red. That's enough, growled the bear. Tell the rabbit and me, how far did you look? And just what did you see? Well, boys, the worm answered, that look that I took was a look that looked further than you'll ever look. I looked across the ocean way out to Japan, where I can see further than anyone can. There's no one on earth who has eyesight that's finer. I looked past Japan, then I looked across China. I looked across Egypt, then took a quick glance across the two countries of Holland and France. Then I looked across England and also Brazil, but I didn't stop there. I looked much further still. I kept right on looking and looking until I looked round the world and right back to this hill. And I saw on this hill, since my eyesight's so keen, the two biggest fools that have ever been seen. And the fools that I saw were none other than you, who seem to have nothing else better to do than sit here and argue who's better than who. The little old worm gave his head a small jerk, and he dived in his hole, went back to his work. The end. Well, it was a bit silly, wasn't it? Trying to be better than someone else, because everybody's good at something and everybody's not so good at something. That's just how things work. So yes, quite silly. And yeah, do you really believe that that worm saw all the way around the world? I wonder. But he was very clever either way. And now we've got a lovely, lovely story to finish, and it's called The Gruffalo. And I know that you are going to love this as much as I do. A mouse took a stroll through the deep, dark wood. A fox saw the mouse, and the mouse looked good. Where are you going to, little brown mouse? Come and have lunch in my underground house. It's terribly kind of you, fox, but no, I'm going to have lunch with a Gruffalo. A Gruffalo? What's a Gruffalo? A Gruffalo? Why, didn't you know? He has terrible tusks and terrible claws and terrible teeth in his terrible jaws. Where are you meeting him? Here, by these rocks. And his favourite food is roasted fox. Roasted fox? I'm off, Fox said. Goodbye, little mouse. And away he sped. Silly old fox. Doesn't he know? There's no such thing as a Gruffalo. On went the mouse through the deep, dark wood. An owl saw the mouse, and the mouse looked good. Where are you going to, little brown mouse? Come and have tea in my treetop house. It's frightfully nice of you, owl, but no, I'm going to have tea with a Gruffalo. A Gruffalo? What's a Gruffalo? A Gruffalo? Why, didn't you know? He has knobbly knees and turned out toes and a poisonous wart at the end of his nose. Where are you meeting him? Here, by this stream, and his favourite food is owl ice cream. Owl ice cream? Twit, twoo! Goodbye, little mouse. And away owl flew. Silly old owl, doesn't he know? There's no such thing as a Gruffalo. On went the mouse through the deep, dark wood. A snake saw the mouse, and the mouse looked good. Where are you going to, little brown mouse? Come for a feast in my log pile house. It's wonderfully good of you, snake, but no, I'm having a feast with a Gruffalo. A Gruffalo? What's a Gruffalo? A Gruffalo? Why, didn't you know? His eyes are orange, his tongue is black, he has purple prickles all over his back. Where are you meeting him? Here, by this lake, and his favourite food is scrambled snake. Scrambled snake? It's time I hid. Goodbye, little mouse, and away Snake hid. Silly old Snake, doesn't he know there's no such thing as a Gruffle? Oh, but who is this creature with terrible claws and terrible teeth in his terrible jaws? He has knobbly knees and turned out toes and a poisonous wart at the end of his nose. His eyes are orange and his tongue is black. He has purple prickles all over his back. Oh, help! Oh, no! It's a Gruffalo! My favourite food, the Gruffalo said. You'll taste good on a slice of bread. Good, said the mouse. Don't call me good. I'm the scariest creature in this wood. Just walk behind me and soon you'll see everyone is afraid of me. All right, said the Gruffalo, bursting with laughter. You go ahead and I'll follow after. They walked and walked till the Gruffalo said, I hear a hiss in the leaves ahead. It's Snake, said the mouse. Why, Snake? Hello. Snake took one look at the Gruffalo. Oh, crumbs, he said. Goodbye, little mouse. And he slid off he slid to his log pile house. You see, said the mouse, I told you so. Amazing, said the Gruffalo. They walked some more till the Gruffalo said, I hear a hoot in the trees ahead. It's Owl, said the mouse. Why, Owl, hello. Owl took one look at the Gruffalo. Oh dear, he said. Goodbye, little mouse. And off he flew to his treetop house. You see, said the mouse, I told you so. Astounding, said the Gruffalo. They walked some more till the Gruffalo said, I hear feet on the path ahead. It's Fox, said the mouse. Why, Fox, hello. Fox took one look at the Gruffalo. Oh, help, he said. Goodbye, little mouse. And off he ran to his underground house. Well, Gruffalo, said the mouse, you see, everyone is afraid of me. But now my tummy's beginning to rumble and my favourite food is Gruffalo crumble. Gruffalo crumble, the Gruffalo said, and as quick as the wind, he turned and fled. All was quiet in the deep, dark wood, and the mouse found a nut, and the nut was good. The end. I hope you enjoyed that. It is one of my favourites. I really do love the story of the Gruffalo and a very, very clever little mouse, isn't he? Well, I hope that you have a wonderful day wherever you are and whatever you're doing. And I really hope that I can see you again soon back here at Reading Corner. But until then, bye for now.